This is going to be part one in my series on using Excel for data analysis, and in this video I'm going to be using a web query to get stock data, and even though it's stock data, the techniques can be used on any kind of data. Next, we're going to be transforming dates into professional standard format, and then finally we're going to be taking a look at Excel's table feature, work with data in a database setting. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump into Excel and get started. Okay, to start with, I'm going to use this stock history function, which will allow me to do a web query on stock data, and it's going to require at a minimum a symbol and a start date. And if you just give it a symbol and a start date, it will just give you a single quote for that start date. All right, and I want about a year's worth of data, so I'm actually going to start putting in some of these optional arguments. All right, and so the dates have to go in quotation marks, and I'm going to go back about 13 months as of the recording of this video, and then eventually I'll end up with about a year's worth of data after I do the transformations I'm going to be doing in this series. Okay, after that, the interval, we can see we can get daily, weekly, monthly. I'm going to get daily, and then we have to decide, do we want the columns to have the headers, right? Do we want to know it's the date, the open, the low? And yeah, I do, so I'm going to go ahead and put that in, and then I can start describing what data I want. And I want all of this that we can see here, so I'll just start putting in those arguments. And then you saw it was busy for a second there, and then, okay, it returns the data. All right, and the one thing to note about this data is, it's an array, and so it's all kind of tied to this very first cell, and in fact, I can't really do anything in any of these other cells, right? So if I try to delete something or change it, it's all sort of tied in here. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'll just rename the sheet. We'll call it query, all right, and then I want to leave the data in this form, so I'll have it in its original form, and then to work with it, I'm going to create a copy of it. So I'll just go ahead and select everything, and I'll Control C to copy that. And if you need to add in a new sheet, I do, and then I will right click, paste special values. Okay, so now I have a copy, and I'll name the sheet data. Okay, and then to see all the data there, I'm just going to double click in between two columns. Okay, so now we have some data. We have a clean copy, and then we have a working copy here. All right, and then the first thing I'm going to do with my working copy is go ahead and transform this date into ISO format. And the reason we do that is primarily so I can share this across any platform, and I can use dates the way I expect them. All right, so dates are really a string, and any other platform besides Excel is going to have a problem sorting this, right? So if it's in the Americanized format, we'll get January 1st if we try to sort it, and then second we'll get October, and then November, and then December, and then February, right? Because that, if we're sorting numbers alphabetically, is how they would sort. Now Excel gets around this by storing the numbers as integers. Okay, so it looks like a date, and then behind the scenes, Excel is also attaching an integer to this. And you can see it if we transform the date into a number. Okay, so according to Excel, November 4th, 2024 is day 45,600, and then this is 45,601, and so forth. And also according to Excel, the first date is January 1st, 1900. Okay, so it only handles dates that go back to that start date. Okay, all right, so let me put this back as a date, and then I'm going to select the whole column to put it in ISO format. And ISO format specifies the year first, then the month, then the day. And now if I start sorting things, they sort like dates. Okay, so to do this, I'm going to go ahead and open the number dialog box here. I'm going to go to custom, and then I'm going to click where it says general here, and I'm going to replace that with the date format I want. So I'm going to specify year, right? So that's a 4-digit year. This is a 2-digit month and a 2-digit day. I'll just click OK. So we can see that, yep, the data is now in ISO format, and not only can Excel sort it, but other platforms can sort it as well. Next up, I'm going to turn on the table feature, which gives us some database functionality in Excel. It's not a relational database, but it's still a database. And Excel tries to give you some of that functionality that you might have to have a relational database management system to otherwise do. Okay, so I'm just going to click somewhere in the data set, and I'm going to go to the Insert tab here, and then I'm going to select Table. Okay, so it just kind of confirms that I want the whole table, so I could change this if I wanted, but I'll just accept the defaults. And then you can see right away that, oh, it added some changes. All right, so it does a lot more than just add the banding of the rows here and the drop downs, right? So we have some drop downs with the banding of the rows. And then, if I scroll through, you can see that, oh, the headers stay in place. And then also notice that when I'm inside the table, I get this context sensitive menu, table design, right? So anytime I'm in the table, I get that. All right, and I'm going to make a couple of changes while I'm here. The first thing I'm going to do is rename it from this generic table 1, and I'll just call it Nvidia. All right, and I'm going to show you how to use that table name in the next video. All right, the other thing I'm going to do is click this button, the total row, and yep, it brings me down to the bottom, and you can see what it did is it's like, oh, it summed up the volume column here. And I'm going to click that drop down, and you can see, oh, we can do some other summary statistics here, right? Like something more meaningful, like maybe the average, all right, or the minimum or the maximum, right? So whatever we want. And we can also look and get these summaries for any of the other columns if we want. All right, so something we may want is maybe a count of the data points. Okay, so I got 13 months of data, and oh, it looks like there's 271 days in 13 months of data. And then we'll take a look at these drop downs. So I'm going to go up to the top with Control Home, and I'm going to click on the drop down for date. And when we go in here, we can see, oh, we can sort it somehow, right? And then if I look at date filters here, we can see, oh, there's a bunch of humanized date conventions here. And then down here at the bottom, we can see that, oh, it's broken out by year. And then if I click the plus sign, we can see that we can just continuously drill down until we get to a specific date within a specific month. All right, so I'm just going to uncheck where it says select all, and I will collapse that, and I'll just select everything in 2024 and then click OK. All right, so now when I go down to my totals, we can see that, okay, there's only 40 observations in 2024 in this data set, and that the average volume in 2024 was 209 million. All right, I'm going to click on the drop down in volume here, and I'm going to take a look at those number filters. All right, so a different batch of filters here that we can do for numerical values than dates. And I'm gonna select this one, top 10, right? I think the other ones are pretty self-explanatory, right? Greater than, less than, that sort of thing, between. All right, I'm gonna get top 10 because it's probably one of the most interesting ones. So I'll click there, and we get this dialog box, and just kind of notice there, even though it says top 10, I could get the top or the bottom. Right, I'll leave it on top, and then even though it says 10, I could restrict it to some other number like 5, get the top 5. And even though we're talking about values, I could also get the top 5 percentile, and then I'll just click OK there. And since none of the top occur in 2024, we're getting this result. Right, so basically I've run a database query with 2 conditions on the data set. And then let's bring it back to all the data, right? So I'll just clear, and then I'm going to go ahead and clear. All right, and then let's try it again with all the data. So I'll just leave all the defaults here, the top. Well, no, I'll switch it up 5. And then click OK. And then, okay, so we can see we have 5 rows there. And then, yeah, I don't really need to put 2025 in there, right, as a secondary filter because, well, they're already all in 2025. But you can see here that, oh, I could further filter it out by either the values that occurred in January or the values that occurred in April. Okay, so lots of possibilities there. And let me just show you one more thing. I can control the filters also from the Data tab. All right, so if I have a whole bunch of filters on my data, I want to get rid of them without clicking each drop down. I just go to the Data tab and click Clear. Okay, I'm going to stop there in this video and pick it up and start adding some transformations and enriching the data set in part 2.